Hey, good evening, sir. This is Calabrius. And you are, once again, very welcome to my cartel. So thank you for stopping by. Now, thinking about these is IBF super middleweight champion Carl Froch. He doesn't seem bothered by the fact that he was schooled by Andre Ward in a 12-round decision loss in December 2011. Froch feels that Ward spoiled his way to victory instead of fighting him toe-to-toe in the manner that, he feels is manlier. So, Froch says to that basically, I'm not worried too much about Andre Ward. He's what he is. Not entertaining. You'll feel like you've been in a fight against Andre Ward. The Kessler fight is a proper men's mano-a-mano fight. That fight could take place on the cobbles, but the boxing public is in for a treat. It's a fight that I need to have, a fight that I need to win for me to be able to settle down. One thing about it is it's interesting how Froch has convinced himself that his loss to Ward was no big deal because it wasn't a toe-to-toe brawl. I was hoping it would be. Froch says he feels it wasn't in the fight, but if you took a look at his face afterwards, it was a pretty badly swollen nose. And, collaborators doesn't see how Froch can say that, he wasn't in the fight. Froch, had more damage in the Ward fight than he did against Kessler in 2010. So how is it that Froch doesn't feel like he was in a proper fight? The name of the game in boxing is to hit and not be hit, and that was the game, and that was designed from the start. So even though Froch feels likes to avoid to get hit, why did he choose to fight other Abraham at a distance instead of toe to toe? If you remember that fight, Froch wasn't fighting toe to toe with Abraham. So I guess it was okay for Froch to stay out of range and avoid getting heat, but wasn't okay for Ward. How about Froch's fight with Glenn Johnson? Why didn't Froch fight Johnson toe-to-toe the entire 12 rounds? I remember seeing Froch fighting on the outside frequently and not going toe-to-toe with him in the traditional sense. So it was okay for Froch to not fight proper men's fight with Johnson and Abraham, but it wasn't okay for Ward to fight, that way too? It just seems like Froch has different expectations for others that he doesn't have for himself. Maybe Froch doesn't have a clear picture of how he actually fights because, if he did, he wouldn't blame Ward at all for avoiding to get hit because, he's doing it himself. Why did Froch back off so frequently against Kessler 3 years ago? Why? If the idea was to go toe-to-toe in a classic primitive sense, then, Froch failed miserably because he was backing off all night long while Kessler was getting the better of him, in exchanges. Collaborate us out. Goodbye.